If you must break the law, do it to seize power. In all other cases, observe it.
Oh.
That was by Julius Caesar.
So are you pro-tyrant or...
But yes, we'll be talking about Julius Caesar,
King.
the would-be king.
The Tsar, the Kaiser.
And I picked that quote because basically that's Julius Caesar. He broke many laws in his life.
I think he was a hero.
I mean, he was definitely a great man.
Crossed that Rubicon, got those goals.
Rolled the dice, got plus for attack.
That's... Especially against goals.
Yeah. And the reason I picked... Because this is like kind of an idea we've got for a new series. That, and the reason I picked Julius Caesar as the first one is... Well, ever since his lifetime, he's sort of... I mean, literally after he died, he got made a god. Like he became God, which is pretty cool. But ever since then, he's sort of been, you know, it's like everyone's on Team Caesar, you know, he's like this great man and he did this and that.
Yeah.
But just recently, his reputation has soured a little bit and he's sort of viewed a bit more as like a, you know, well, a power-hungry maniac.
Bit of a tyrant.
Yeah, a tyrant.
Would you say the Americans are to blame for that?
I mean...
Because the people still look fondly at Napoleon, you know, and he's a bit of a Caesar figure.
Yeah. I mean, Napoleon's probably the reverse. At the time, he was seen as a power-hungry maniac. But then now, it's probably a bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah. Honestly, I think most people just like, yeah, Napoleon, as in the ice cream, Neapolitan, you know, like, I don't know anything about that.
But yeah, so I thought we'd have a look at, just not go through a biography of Caesar, but just his, you know, a couple of the key points. And at the end of it, we're going to see that Julius Caesar was a great man and did nothing wrong.
Make the argument to me as to why Julius Caesar did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and he's a great man.
And he's a great man.
So just a brief overview of his life. He was born in 100 BC.
Mm-hmm.
And he was he was born into an ancient Roman family that had fallen on hard times. And their version of fallen on hard times is like, you know, they've moved from like the $40 million mansion, you know, down to the $5 million mansion. Like that's hard times.
Must have been so hard on his mother. This is young Julius Caesar just white knuckling when you see a slightly richer person walk down the street, you know, in purple or something. It's like, oh, that could have been me.
From early on, he was borrowing a shitload of money to run for public office and things like that. He was, you know, had all this debt. He was obviously very well known for making the first triumvirate, like a secret backroom politics kind of deal in Rome, where they basically controlled the running of the Republic.
Yep. Just remove the Senate from the equation.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't care what you guys think.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the triumvirate is when the Republic ended or stopped functioning. He sort of got himself set up in as a military commander in Gaul.
Yep.
And sort of used that to basically conquer France.
I mean, if you could, like, it's just, I don't know about you, but it's the dream.
It is. Like, if you can conquer France, you're a person of note. So with the spoils of his Gallic campaign, he became wildly rich. Through various sort of political sort of machinations, he crossed the Rubicon, headed towards Rome, rolled the dice, plus for attack, and he used that plus for attack to attack Rome.
He was invoking a bit of a Sulla kind of like, it's been done before,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to relinquish the power because then my political enemies are going to get me.
And then he was made dictator, and through various things made dictator for life. And then, of course, he was heinously assassinated against his will.
It's fitting that Brutus and Judas are very close names because fuck those guys.
Yeah, they got what's coming to them. So that's just a brief overview. But I wanted to a couple of things that are black marks against Caesar's name, and just really, he didn't really do anything wrong.
It's going to whitewash the story, rehabilitate Julius Caesar's good name.
Where this is really a PR episode for Caesar.
It's just an extension of his Gallic Wars, but...
The Gallic Wars, Part 2.
Yeah.
So the first controversy that he experienced, well, not the first, but the one I'm going to talk about, is there was a controversy with, there's like this, he, at the time he was the Pontifex Maximus, like the head of the top priest in Rome.
Yeah.
And there was this controversy where there was like a festival at his house where he's like involving his mother and his wife. And basically this guy sort of, it was for women only. And this guy snuck in
like a drag, kind of,
dressed as drag, to supposedly have hanky-panky with either some of the Vestal virgins, the priestesses, or maybe possibly with Caesar's wife.
Neither is good.
No, and he got caught, and it was this whole big thing, and
Caesar there giving the wig and the dress and everything. It's like, it's not what you think.
Yeah, and people would go up and ask him like, "Hey, lady, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "Nothing. Don't mind." In clearly a man's voice, like,
covering his Adam's apple.
Didn't even try and be like, "Oh, hi."
Oh, nothing.
And so Caesar got dragged into this, because it's like, is this guy banging your wife and all that sort of stuff? And so what he decided to do was he divorced his wife. Even though it was just allegations, he divorced his wife. And people were like, well, why are you divorcing your wife if nothing's going on? And he said, Caesar's wife must be beyond suspicion.
That's pretty based. I mean,
so
sorry.
That's how he got out of that. So he didn't really do anything wrong there. He's found a way through the muck, and he's kept everyone's reputation intact.
Yep.
And just sort of sidestepped the issue completely. It's politics 101.
Oh, keeping himself open to be married later on.
Yes.
Sorry, honey, but I'm just too brave and too wise to remain married to you.
So that was one sort of controversy. The next big one, the first triumvirate, which we already mentioned, like a secret deal that he made with Crassus, the richest man in Rome.
Yep.
And Pompey, the sort of the war hero, the most decorated man in Rome. Basically conquered the Middle East.
Yep. Pompey Maximus did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong. That may be episode number 2. Yeah. Pompey did nothing wrong. So they made this deal basically to get shit done.
Yeah.
Because the Senate was, blocking him. I think the Senate feared another Sulla coming around. So they were...
You would, because he killed the whole Senate.
Yeah. So they were blocking these guys at every move. So they made a secret deal to get all the legislation and whatever that they wanted passed through. The very first, so with this legislation, Caesar got made consul, which is like the top guy in Rome, the kind of the president.
Yep.
Pompey got his land reform through that he wanted to get divvied out for his veterans.
Yep.
And Crassus got like a military command somewhere, or which is what he wanted.
Into the east, I think.
Yeah, and so even at the time, a lot of people were like, "This is," they knew what was going on, and they're sort of having a big whinge about it. But
It's like, those three guys are in cahoots.
Yeah. But Caesar's very first act he did as consul was to publish the minutes of the Senate. I mean, they didn't have a minute, but, to sort of publish the dealings of the Senate so that the Senate was accountable to the public. That's a good thing to do,
Caesar, good guy.
People need to know what the government's up to.
And dropping the Epstein files.
As I said, he redistributed land to these veterans. They'd been fighting for Rome. They'd been giving their blood, sweat, probably tears.
And it's been promised since Marius anyway, before Marius.
And so these guys were kind of homeless. And Caesar said, not on my watch.
You've got to look after our boys.
Here's a parcel of land. You've done your job well. There you go.
I think some people got stiffed though, and it's like, they're like, yeah, I'm going to have a nice spot in the middle of Italy, and they get some rocky slot of land in Romania,
Yeah, they get like a desert of like Southern Carthage or something.
Like, well, good luck. This is my lot in life.
And by the way, if you don't send out 10 bushels of wheat every month, we're going to come and ask questions.
We're going to kill you. We're going to kill you.
So yeah, he did quite a good job in his and the triumvirate succeeded in that it did get stuff done.
It did. We wouldn't be talking about a man who didn't get stuff done.
No. He'd be lost to the sands of time. And a lot of people say that the triumvirate destroyed the Republic, but it was kind of Caesar being probably the genius that he was. He saw the writing on the wall, and he's like, "This ship's sinking, so we need to fix this up."
Well, they've been dealing with it for a couple of generations, and Caesar's just come along and just greased the wheels up a little bit. Got everything moving.
Yeah, absolutely. And he didn't want to be another Sulla, so he's like, "Let's get two other people involved." So it's like a three-way thing, and we all have to agree on something. If we don't all agree, can't do it.
I think it's great.
Good on you, Caesar. As I said before, from the triumvirate, he got himself a military command in Gaul. And then from that, he basically conquered the Gauls, which is like the, more or less modern day France. And he has been accused of enacting a genocide in Gaul. So supposedly the Gaulish population was around 3 million.
Yep.
He's meant to have killed 1 million, enslaved 1 million, and then I guess the remaining million was left on the farms or whatever.
But, important thing to remember, you had a huge barbarian invasion the previous generation.
Yep.
That would still be fresh in, the Roman psyche. And maybe there's a little bit of confusion of like, okay, they were probably Germans. But a barbarian's a barbarian. If you're not a Roman,
you are a barbarian.
Yeah. So he's just headed out there and he's like, right.
and in the Caesar reports in the commentaries, the only reason that he decided to go into Gaul is because one of the a tribesman or a druid actually came to see him and said, "Listen, there's this massive German, confederation or whatever or tribe that are coming in and pushing us. We're going to have to come into your Roman land, and it's going to be a big problem for you because we got nowhere to go. They're going to kill us unless we move on." And so again, Caesar thought about it and he goes, "Not on my watch.
You're not coming yet."
These barbarians are not infiltrating sovereign Roman territory. So he decided, instead of waiting for them to come, he took the proactive approach.
Yep. I've seen some people, like, I think there's a bit where it's like the Gauls are on one side of the river and Caesar and his boys are on the other.
Yeah.
And Caesar allows them to cross, but not with their weapons. And I've seen that as like, oh, that's just a bit of trickery and stuff. But no, I think, why Caesar? So of course you're not having your weapons. You're discussing barbarians. Now you're in jail. Boom.
Yeah, I mean
I'm protecting Italy.
Yeah, it's something that I could imagine someone in like a wild, wild west sheriff sort of doing that. Like, just just lay down your weapons, Billy the Kid, and
Yeah.
you know, you can walk through the town, go buy your groceries, and he's like, yeah, no worries. Walks in, you're under arrest.
Gotcha, you idiot. Can't believe you fell for that.
So this this genocide,
Mm.
they're probably exaggerated numbers anyway. I mean, a million people is a lot of people to kill and also to enslave when
He's saying that maybe he was bigging himself up a bit.
maybe. So they're probably exaggerated numbers. And then over the next few years, he, you know, after he'd gone in and saw off the German threat, well, then he saw it as his duty to look after these Gauls and to provide safety and security for them, even from themselves.
Yep.
So you know, some Gauls were a bit uppity. They you know, they like Vercingetorix.
Yep. Sick name.
Sort of, yeah, king's in his name. So he rallied these tribes together, and Caesar saw that, and he's like, this is going to threaten the entire security and safety framework that I've created. So he obviously put down that revolt. And one thing that is often forgotten about, kind of like you've mentioned, but he's bringing civilization to these people. You know, they're going from, you know, hunting deer to sitting in bars.
Just, you know, sowing grain and forming a little local government.
Yeah.
Like a Roman provincial province in, you know, Gaul. It's just a bunch of barbarians sitting around a table pretending to be Romans.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and because of what Caesar did, these Gauls, I think a couple of generations later, Gauls were admitted to the Senate.
Yep.
You know, so they became part of the. They weren't just like a conquered people. They were fully integrated.
Currency, you know, before, best case, had a couple of goat tracks. Now, Roman roads.
Roads. They could see their mum in Paris, you know, every summer. Much easier.
Introducing the wheel.
They knew the right gods to worship now, which is always good.
So I was just like, well, it's not Jesus, but I suppose Jupiter's better than Odin, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, I think he did a really good job with the Gauls. And
so do you think there must have been like, I suppose Christianity was, you know, put in like more in the 100 AD, 200 AD kind of started coming around, but I'm like, it'd be like a really old bloke who lived through like Norse paganism into Mediterranean paganism and then into Christianity. It's just like, make up your fucking mind.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be an interesting character if that person. I'm sure there would be someone that's gone, had a big religion change.
Yeah,
like
just
that. But
like, Christ. I mean Odin. I mean Jupiter. God.
So he's conquered the Gauls, and then the next sort of big black mark against his name is the Civil War, which a lot of people say that he instigated. But if you look at the facts, so he's conquered Gaul. He's brought in a shitload of money to Rome, which he sent back.
Yeah.
He became very wealthy, of course, but he sent a lot of money back to Rome as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, slaves and all that kind of stuff, which is the foundation for the Roman economy, basically.
Slaves carrying his money.
And then, you know, so his sort of term in office in Gaul was coming to an end.
Yep.
And the Senate, again, fearing that they had another Sulla on their hands, demanded that Caesar lay down his office, essentially surrender his troops, and come back to Rome to be a private citizen. It wasn't I don't think there was any threats of like, we're going to get you when you get back here, but it was just like, just lay it all down and come back home.
Has the Senate been empowered because the triumvirate has failed, because Crassus is out of the picture now?
Yeah.
So
Crassus died about probably 5 or maybe a decade before this in Parthia.
Yeah.
Yeah, had that ill-fated campaign. Got molten gold sort of poured on his severed head.
Got Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So yeah, the Senate have asked him to come back. At the same time, they've sort of switched Pompey onto their side and said, just you got to sort out this Caesar situation. He's like, he's kind of my mate. I'm not. He's like my frenemy now. I don't really want to do anything, but
I think Pompey might also be married to Caesar's little sister.
He was married to his daughter, who also died at the same time. Crassus died.
Yeah.
Now Caesar, smart Caesar, clever Caesar,
wise Caesar.
He knew what was going on. He knew, because in Roman law, when you're not in public office, then you're liable for prosecution for whatever, for any action that you've taken. And they didn't have laws like we do. They sort of played fast and loose with it. So he didn't want to do that, and he goes, I'll relinquish my office and disband the armies.
Yep.
If Pompey does the same thing.
I'm guessing none of that happened.
The Senate rejected that. They because they want to have Pompey on their side.
Yeah.
And they want to have that security. So when Caesar heard this, he saw clear as day that the Republic no longer functions. That
was it.
That the Senate, because it's a reasonable offer.
Yeah. That
the Senate...
well, their intentions were clear.
Yeah, and further to that, it was Mark Antony he'd been elected as the Tribune of the Plebs, which is, an official office. He was in the Senate sort of negotiating this deal on Caesar's behalf. And when the Senate rejected the offer, they pretty much told Mark Antony that we can't guarantee your safety either. Now, being an elected official and also the Tribune of the Plebs, when he's in Rome, his sort of his person, his body was sacrosanct, which is like, it's like a holy, like you can't cause any harm to him. So
unless you're the Gracchi brothers, of course.
Unless you're the Gracchis, yeah. So he's sort of like lost his shit.
Yeah.
Going out to, sort of as fast as he can back up to Gaul to tell Caesar all this. So Caesar's just like, this is out of control. The Senate's out of control. The Republic's broken. They got a strongman, Pompey, in charge. He's whipping up all these legions. It's all against the law.
Yep.
I've got to go fix this myself. And that's when he goes down to the Rubicon, the die is cast, +4 attack. Off he goes. And of course there was a massive civil war, lots of, it was a real tragedy for the Roman state.
You can blame Caesar for the terrible civil war. But just as easily, we're like, Pompey, stand down.
Yeah. Why didn't Pompey stand down? He could have. I'm pretty sure Caesar would have just been like, hey, no hard feelings,
Oh. Caesar loved Pompey.
Yeah.
He's my boy. I'm going to beat him on the field if necessary, but he's my boy.
I mean, later on in the Civil Wars, lots of people that Caesar did actually defeat. He's like, well, you're a Roman.
Yep.
You just off you go. Just
fine.
Yeah. No hard feelings.
I'm Clement.
I'm Clement of Rome. So yeah, he of course came out on top in the Civil War. He was, and then the next sort of big black mark that people level at him is the dictatorship. So after the Civil War, he made himself dictator, or if he was offered the dictatorship, but either way, he became dictator, and then
merely Rome's first citizen.
Yes, he was Rome's first citizen, and over the course of the next couple of years, the dictatorship sort of ramped up. You're dictator for a couple of years, and then it's you're dictator for 10 years. Now it's your dictator for life.
It's like you're in your 60s or whatever at that point.
Yeah,
may as well just make it for life. You know, just may as well.
What harm could it do?
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
And so. A lot of people at the time and subsequently, it's like, it's just he's a king in name, in everything but name, and he lived up this dictatorship because he just wanted to lord over the Roman people.
Yep.
And I think he saw a couple of a couple of realities of this situation. Number one, if he lays down his dictatorship powers, he kind of envisaged that it would just be reignite the civil war.
Well, it's what happened with Sulla when he came in, because I can't remember the guy out the east that he wanted to go and smash up. It was like not Pontiac.
Mithridates.
Yeah. He's come in, he's like, right, I am getting this position, I am going out east, lays it up, tells the Senate what's what, and then has an election and heads off. And the moment he gives up his power, they start prosecuting him, and and it's like, okay, well, way to set the precedent. And when he comes back, he's like, and yes, he does eventually give his power up, but he's like, no, but I am going to be like the dictator for like the next 19 years or something.
Yeah,
and just going to lay policy out because I don't trust you guys.
Yeah. And I mean, Caesar, he was kind of vindicated as well, because after he got assassinated, and there was like this sort of power vacuum where it was, it initiated a new round of civil wars, which were far worse than the previous ones.
Innocent Roman blood spilt for nothing.
Yeah. And, a lot of the reforms, while he was in power, the reforms that he brought in were, at the time, people agreed they were pretty fair. He wasn't, just all his mates, he wasn't just looking after them. He was sort of bringing in fair laws that was fair to everyone.
Well, a lot of his power base was like popularity, So he had the people. So there would have been land reforms and, yummy bread.
Yeah. But yeah, he did all that for the people, but he didn't, it wasn't just like to the Senate and that class. He wasn't just like, hey, get fucked. He looked after them as well. He did just fair laws for everyone across the board. And
what a guy.
I know. And that's when he had basically ultimate power. And even another story is that Mark Antony, so Caesar was like having a whatever sort of public meeting, and Mark Antony sort of came up with a crown, and he's like, the people demand it like you. And Caesar basically goes, get out of here, you idiot. I'm not going to be the king. I'm not the king of Rome. Like, Rome's a republic. The people are in charge.
Again, I'm merely the first citizen.
I'm just here to right the ship, and then it's back to you guys.
Get that bad PR away from me.
Yeah.
This will be interpreted poorly.
Yeah, it may have also just been a PR stunt, but but we won't talk about that. And
no, because he did nothing wrong.
No, and so he sought to save, to be the savior of the republic, but not in a way that's like, look at me, but in a way that I just want to fix this thing. And for his troubles, he got assassinated for it.
You too, Brutus. You too. There's another controversy of his that I'm sure you'll be able to spin for me, because maybe I just misunderstand.
I take umbrage to that. I'm not spinning anything. I'm just
maybe I've got the spin.
Yeah, you've got the.
But I can't remember which king it was out east, but it was a bit of a joke that when he's gone to see this king for some round of negotiations, or the leader, that it wasn't an issue that they apparently slept together. The controversy was that Caesar was the bottom.
Right.
And he sort of, there was a little chip on his shoulder for a while after that, because everyone's just like, you're the power bottom. He's like, stop it. I'm not.
Well, I think, firstly, Caesar did nothing wrong, because that story was probably made up to besmirch his good name.
So the Eastern King was the power bottom, and Caesar was not submissive.
The truth is either the king was the bottom, or the story was just completely fabricated. And it might have been one of those stories where Caesar's people are like, you're the bottom, and he's like, no, it didn't happen, and they're like, sure, it didn't.
Yeah, right. Whoever denied it supplied it. Well,
there you go. Julius Caesar is a great man, and he did nothing wrong.